Today we will look at some examples from Chapter 5. In this problem, it says the return on investment, ROI, is the ratio of profit or loss of an investment relative to the amount of money invested. ROI is commonly calculated to compare the performance of one investment relative to another. Let's find this ratio if we're given these values. So ROI is a ratio. A ratio is a fraction. The fraction is defined to be profit over the amount invested. The profit is $1,600. The amount invested is $8,000. We want to write this as a simplified fraction, not a decimal. I'm knocking out two zeros, or effectively dividing top and bottom by 100. And then if I look at 16 and 80, I see a divisibility by 16. 16 into itself is once. 16 to 80 is 5. The answer is 1/5, not 5. It's 1 over 5. 1/5 would be the reduced fraction for the ratio. Let's look at a trout or a deer type problem. These often bother students. I suggest you read the problem carefully. I suggest you also make a picture of the facts. It helps us set up the proportion correctly. We want to determine the number of trout in the lake by estimation process. So we have our lake, which has an unknown amount of trout. In this lake, we tagged 336 trout. So I put in those facts down. We let the trout release them. They swim all around. Some die, some new ones are born. But we catch a representative sample, smaller lake if you like. And in this sample, 64 of them are tagged. And the sample contains exactly 198 trout. So now we have a big lake and a small lake. And we want to set up a proportion, the same ratio or rates on both sides of the equation. Let's do tagged to trout. So the number of tagged trout in the sample is 64. The number of trout in the sample is 198. We want to do the same thing for the huge lake. The number of tagged fish in the lake is 336. The amount of fish in the lake is unknown, that is X. The way we solve a proportion is to diagonally multiply or cross multiply. So 64 times X is equal to 198 times 336. To solve for X, we divide both sides by 64. I am now going to put these numbers into the calculator, 198 times 336, all divided by 64. And it gave me an answer out to one decimal place, so 1039.5. But let's read how we're supposed to write the answer. We're supposed to write the answer rounded to the nearest whole number. So rounded to the nearest whole number is 1040. Again, we're estimating, so it makes no sense to have a fractional part of a fish. We should round to the nearest whole number, which is 1040.